Hey guys, welcome back to Math Crazy Tutoring here. What we're going to do today is I'm going to be interviewing Kris, asking him a little bit about speed reading. So first off, before we get into this, Kris, how long have you done speed reading for or researched speed reading for?
Let's see here, probably the past 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
I've been researching and developing my own methods and coming up with a way that works.
Okay. Well, first off, in the very basic, if you've seen some of our other speed reading videos, which we have speed reading and also speed reading practice 1 and 2, you have kind of a basic idea. But Kris, maybe for someone who hasn't, what is speed reading? What's the purpose of it? Why should someone learn it?
Well, a lot of people view speed reading as kind of like this magic trick. Guy opens a book and flips through it, and magically, it all makes sense to him. And he just has 100% comprehension, and he can read 50,000 words a minute, and it just. He can pick up a book right before his test, read through all of it, understand it, and it's a miracle. Kind of like Superman in the comic books or whatever. But that's not what I teach, and I don't think that's what's out there. There's other stuff available like photo reading. Have you ever heard of photo reading?
Yeah.
And that's the idea that you take a look at a page and you memorize it for as a photo in your memory. I never found value with that. It never worked for me. So I wanted to make something that was applicable to students today and things that people could use. And so what speed reading is it's basically using your eyes to take in information instead of your larynx. Because when people read, they read with their mouth, and even when they close their mouth, they're still reading with their larynx. And so their brain is translating signals not from your eyes, the visual information taken in through your eyes, but rather through your larynx. And so you're reading out these words through your larynx, and then that's being translated into your brain as a picture of a cat or a picture of a dog or whatever it is you're reading about. But using your eyes, it's a straight digital image, to your brain, and that's what reading is. And accelerated reading is just putting more of a purpose on your eyes to read rather than your larynx. So it's switching the two.
Could you give us an example of some times when that's been useful for you, maybe how it's helped you, and how someone else could expect to make speed reading useful for them?
Well, speed reading, it's basically like, all normal readers, for people who use their larynx and read about 125 to 225 words a minute, they have like the keys to a golf cart, And a golf cart can get you around town, and you can drive around parking lots and all that stuff, but you can't zoom through stuff. So when you get through miles and miles of country, or you need to get to Los Angeles from Fresno, or you need to get across country, driving a golf cart's pretty slow and painstaking. But if you had a keys for a Ferrari, you could go 100 miles an hour or more through that. And when you get to the parts that you really enjoy, like in reading, when you really need to get to the parts that you need to understand for class, or the parts you want to read and just soak up, you can absolutely slow down. So I think learning to speed read is like it's upgrading your car from a golf cart to a Camaro or Ferrari or something. It's having the ability to read faster, and part of being able to speed read is knowing when to use it and when not to. It's like drawing. Sometimes you sketch, sometimes you really take your time and make sure every line is correct and work through it and everything. And there's some people who can only sketch, but we're giving people the ability to draw and sketch, so they can come up with something real quick, or they can take their time doing it.
Okay.
So I think it applies to everyone. I think everyone could definitely have use from it, because who doesn't read in their day life?
Well, tell me a little bit more here about that, because I know that myself and probably a lot of the viewers out there, since we don't know deep enough about it, we don't know when's a good time to speed read, when should we not be speed reading. So can you tell us, basically, how should we use this new tool, and when should we not use it?
Well, the thing about speed reading is that it takes information in super quick. It's pretty much instantaneous, is the way it's viewed. So if you need to memorize facts, you'd want to use speed reading, because it will give you a holistic view. Novels, let's start with poetry. Poetry, probably never going to use speed reading, because it's of no use. Now you might use, if you're getting through a large amount of text of poetry, like someone's works, and you need to memorize it for class, or you need to pick up a general idea of what it sounds like, you might use speed reading, but when you're using poetry, it's supposed to be spoken, and that's how you feel about it, and then you dissect it from there. So you're not going to use speed reading with poetry or poems or lyrics or songs or anything like that. Novels, probably the next step up, are short stories, or even articles, with lots of dialogue or whatever. Whenever there's dialogue and speaking, you want to slow down and just read it. You can read it at your normal pace. But you read some authors. Some authors have these long descriptions. Sometimes it's like 2 or 3 pages about mountains, or 2 or 3 pages about rivers, or some other descriptive quality about a character or the room or whatever. And it totally ties into the story, and it has a purpose in being there and everything. But for someone who's reading at 125 words per minute in our day and age, that's just not interesting anymore. And so being able to zoom through that and not skim it at all, but take in everything and see the mountains exactly for what they are, the river exactly for what it is, then you'll be able to visualize it. And you get through that part really quickly and then move on to the dialogue and then slow down. So it's a balance, and it really depends on when you want to use it and when you don't, and that's up to the reader's discretion. I mean, you can have, if you want to read The Catcher in the Rye in 10 minutes and speed read through it, you absolutely can. Are you going to enjoy it as much? Probably not. You need to take your time through it. Textbooks are the same way. It's a choice for the reader. You can zoom through your textbook in 15, 20 minutes or whatever. I've seen people do it. But is it going to? Are you going to get all the information out of it that you need to? Probably not. You're probably going to skip some things that you need to. You may get a holistic view of what the course is about or what the chapter is about, but the little pieces of information that your test is going to be on, you're probably going to miss that. So in studying for a test or using a textbook, what I recommend is a speed reading through it first, and getting a whole idea of what the chapter's about, and then kind of slow reading the parts that you were confused about, or slow reading the parts that you were interested in. And I mean, textbooks are a great way to practice speed reading in general, just because it's a lot of information, there's hardly any dialogue, and you can speed read through it. I mean,
well, really, you're on to my next question right there, which is that a lot of people maybe you've seen our videos that have the first one along with the practices. Beyond that, if they want to go up on their own, what would you recommend they could do? So you're saying textbooks are a good way, but what are some other avenues they can take?
As far as increasing their ability to read
practice their speed reading.
To practice their speed reading? Well, the best ways would be the number find that I showed in one of the examples. That increases people's speed reading tremendously.
And for those who aren't sure, that's one of our YouTube videos, I believe, Speed Practice #1. So you can check that out on our site, YouTube/user/MathCrazyTutoring.
Yeah. And in fact, some speed reading courses that you sign up for and you pay hundreds of dollars for, that's what they do. They sit you down and you have a packet of number find sheets that's been created for you, and you just sit there and you find numbers the entire time. And what that works with is scanning the ability and being able to look for numbers, and then that translates into being able to scan through words and pick up information like that. And so that's one way. Another video that we're going to put up soon is mazes, working with mazes. If you buy a $5 kid book on mazes, and it has those little sheets with different mazes, those really help with scanning. Now, don't actually do it with a pen, just do it with your eyes, and that's what the example will show. But that also works with scanning, and that's something that'll do it. But as far as reading, all you need to do to speed read is take the larynx out of the equation and put an emphasis on the eyes. And all you need to do that is to make some kind of noise with your larynx, like A, E, I, O, U, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or however you want to do it, and then read. You can also put on a CD and sing along with the CD and try and read at the same time. It's kind of like rubbing your belly, patting your head. It's the same kind of idea, and the more you do that, you'll realize that you're really faster. I mean, that's the way that I've noticed that people increase their speed in reading the most. The other way you can do it is through a series of hand signals, which I'm going to demonstrate in another example that you guys can use at home. But that's probably the easiest way. But there'll be other exercises. So I mean, the exercises speak for themselves.